YouTubers, and welcome to episode 3 of Going Topicless, called that because there is no topic. Joining me today is the lovely Paiten and her boyfriend, Ryan McIntosh. How is everyone doing tonight?
Absolutely lovely.
Fantastic.
How are you doing?
That's great. I'm doing fine. Just got back from a cold, wintry day in Calgary.
Ooh.
Sounds great. It's freezing here as well. It snowed a couple days ago, but it all kind of melted, but it's still freezing here.
That's basically
In Colorado.
Calgary. Calgary just has winter like several times a month, I swear. Like
And
we
just
had
year-round.
snowfall and then it melted and then it was sunny and then it snowed again and then it melted and then it was sunny. And now it's
Yeah,
snowing
it's
again.
kind of like a woman. It just has
Hey.
two cycles. Yes, women have 2 cycles. I confirmed this earlier today. I'm kidding. I don't do research. I don't do much of anything.
Just like me. Anyway, last time we talked about what it's like being on the C train in Calgary and
Oh.
some other things, and I probably talked about homeless people at some point. Yes, I remember that was a rant.
There are
Yeah.
a lot of homeless people here.
I met the nicest homeless person the other day, actually. Here's a story. I was at school.
Buckle
And
up, kids.
It was like, yeah, fucking
Here we go.
fasten your seatbelts, boys, because we're about to fucking go. Yeah, I was just getting a coffee, crazy shit. Like, nobody gets coffee except me. Apparently, it's just the most interesting thing in the world, getting coffee. But anyways, this homeless guy was just like the happiest dude ever. Just like the happiest homeless guy I've ever met. Which is funny because he's homeless and he's happier than I am. And, like, he was like, "How are you doing today, sir?" And I was like, "Oh, not too bad. What about you?" And he's like, "I'm excellent, thank you." And I'm like, holy man.
So,
That guy's got
going
it
to
down.
School, I'm going to school and I sleep in a house and I buy my food and he like can't afford his food, sleeps on the street in the freezing cold, and he's happier than me. Like,
are you saying
That is
people
modern
think
society in a
things-
nutshell. All the rich people are
really is.
depressed, all the poor people are happy.
yeah, why do all the actors like commit the seppuku and all
The
the fucking
seppuku?
homeless people are like have so much will to live? Probably because they're on drugs.
It's a spook.
Homeless people can't afford cocaine, you know.
They have to be high on life. They can't be high on the good shit.
No, I don't think that's how it works.
Grows on plants. Just like money.
I think what it is. This is my theory, that being homeless, you sort of have a different perspective on what life is worth, and you sort of take the best you can out of every little thing you get. So
True,
when
yeah.
you've got like, even if it's just a sunny day, you're like, wow, today's a great fucking day. Whereas
Oh,
rich
yeah.
people, they can just buy anything they want. Like, well, nothing's gonna make me happy. I've got what I want. And I guess that's sort of where the cliche phrase "money can't buy you happiness" comes from.
Well, because I have mixed feelings about that phrase because when you're kind of a normal middle class or below person, whenever you buy something that you really want, you've kind of earned it. Like, you can be excited
Yeah,
and happy about your purchase. Like, when I buy something that's really expensive, like, it feels good and it does make me happy. But that's because I can't buy expensive shit a lot.
mm-hmm.
But when you can buy any expensive thing you want, like, if you could buy like 3 Xbox at 1X's and like 10 4K TVs and as much shit as you want, like,
And 2
I'm pretty
Lamborghinis
sure-
and a
and
mansion.
2 Lamborghinis and a mansion and like 3 castles in Europe, all that kind of stuff. It's not even exciting anymore. Like, you're just kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'll buy that. 10 grand, no problem.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to be that rich because I'm a very I like stuff, and I'm not even gonna lie
stuff
and say
and
I wouldn't
things.
buy a lot because I absolutely would, but then I would 100% not care anymore. I'd be like, oh, whatever, I'll to buy this, and I'll buy this, and oh, cool, this looks cool. I'll buy that too.
I
don't
think
know, it's just, and homeless people, they appreciate a lot stuff more, and they have a lot more freedom.
yeah.
True. When you're rich, you have an entire mansion and cars and shit to worry about. Like, you can't just go wherever you want because you have all that stuff there. And, like,
Mhm.
what if someone breaks in? You need someone to watch your house. You gotta put in security cameras. You're probably gonna be paranoid about people stealing your shit. A
Yeah.
homeless dude, what does he own? Nothing. He can
What
go
does he
wherever
have that
wants.
people can steal?
He
Who's
can
gonna
go
steal
wherever
from a
he
homeless
wants,
man?
and he doesn't have to worry about it.
No.
Same with kids. He probably doesn't have, like, kids that he actually has to take care of. I've
Mhm.
never seen a homeless baby before. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but he doesn't have to worry about, like, hiring a babysitter. He can just go. You know what I mean? Like, he
Yeah.
can just do whatever he wants. He's 100% free to do whatever he wants whenever he wants.
I
Except maybe
think
eat.
I think in order to
Yeah.
truly appreciate and enjoy being rich, you have to first be poor.
That's true. A lot of rich people that are very respectable started off from nothing
Yeah.
and built their way up themselves. And then they had a kid and died and gave all their money to their kid. Donald
And
Trump.
then their
Hey.
kid became the rich asshole that we all know and
Yeah.
love.
You know?
Yep.
Donald Trump, guys. My favorite man.
Yeah, he's great. I love his orangeness and his hair. It's the best. Better than Justin Trudeau's hair.
I like how he
Well-
runs the US, but he doesn't know how the world works. That's my favorite part.
I mean, to give credit where credit's due, he hasn't burned down America yet.
That's true, but that's because a lot of the people that work with him don't let him do the really, really dumb stuff that he wants to do.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
They're glorified babysitters.
Isn't that just politics?
Like the babysitter. They're the babysitter that sits on the couch and, like, watches TV. So they still let you do a lot of stupid shit and don't really pay attention to you. But they're basically there to make sure you don't, like, stick the fork in the toaster. Like, they'll stop you from doing that, but anything short of you dying, they don't care. Like, they'll just let you fall down the stairs and, like, spill food all over yourself and whatnot. But if you're not dying, then it's fine. But as soon as you put your life in danger, then they'll step in and be like, okay.
I feel
Maybe
like
we
you've just
shouldn't do
perfectly described my aunt.
Oh.
Helen,
Anyway, that was a
So
very
are you
long-winded intro.
Yeah, that was.
oh,
I'd
that
say
was
we're
the
off to a
intro.
good
Sorry,
start.
guys. Hi. That's the end of the intro.
So basically, we summed up that people take things for granted.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
almost like we knew that, but we ignore it because we take it for
Exactly.
granted.
People ignore everything.
Mind
I think
blown.
that's what brings people peace in life, is ignoring things that will be problems later on in the road.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
think about anybody when you say, like, oh, global warming, they say, oh, that's not going to affect anything for another 100 years. It's always their excuse. It's like, but if you have kids... and
That's
a bunch of kids
basically
have kids,
why the two previous
then-
generations before us didn't give a shit, because they were like, well, I'm going to be dead by the time this fucks up the planet, so let the millennials deal with it.
I'll just poop out a baby and he'll handle it. It's
Yeah.
chill.
Don't ever say poop out a baby in my presence.
Poop out a baby. That's how babies are born.
Pee is stored in the balls.
Pee is stored in the balls.
Eric Cartman taught me that vaginas have balls.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Saw some yesterday, actually.
I can, yeah.
All right. Wow. Moving swiftly on.
Anyways, let's forget.
I had an interview with important
Ooh.
people.
Right, your interview. How did that go?
Yes,
I completely
Devin.
forgot about it.
That go.
I feel like that went far better than I could have expected. It was quick and smooth. That's the best way I can describe it.
Nice.
I was shitting myself up to the 4 days prior to that. Paiten can, she can agree.
Yeah, I have some messages that.
Oh, she's about to expose you. She's busting out the DM.
Hold on, I have the DM.
Oh,
And
No,
I have
just
to I have
go
to
on,
find
like-
these two so I can make sure you're not changing it, not turning
Dude,
this into
actually, I
fake
think-
news.
I think I have Keemstar's number. You guys can
No, you were just way more worried than you should have been, and it wasn't even about the physical part of it. Like, you weren't worried about messing up your words or sitting straight. You were.
I mean, I mess
You
up
were
my words on a
overlooking-
daily basis, so I knew that was gonna happen no matter what.
No, you were more worried about the simple questions that you were being asked.
Yeah.
Like, mm,
Are you racist? That's the hardest one for me.
no, it was a conductor has to deal with a lot of like detail and car numbers, and you had to relate that to your own work experience.
Yeah.
Can you remember shit? Nigga, I don't remember what I had for breakfast. What do you want from me?
I think we found a good.
Yeah.
Um,
You basically you helped me see that I was just overthinking the questions way too much.
no, that was
Which everybody
100%.
does. Most people.
Mm-hmm.
You get worked up about something, and then it literally ends in 5 minutes,
It's
and
just-
you have
Yeah.
to go through a week of torture for it.
It's the build-up.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like it's the anticipation that kills me for certain things. Like even when doing theater performances in high school, like the hours leading up to the actual performance, I was like fucking hyper, making dumb mistakes, losing my shit. And as soon as I was on stage, I'm like, all right, I'm in my comfort zone. I know what I'm doing. And it was the exact same for the interview. Like the weekend, I'm cold sweats, can't sleep. And it was as soon as I was in the room talking with the interviewers, I was like, I'm cool. I got this.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have like anxiety too, so I have a lot of shit like that for really stupid things.
Mhm.
Like even before big parties that I'm planning on going to, I'll feel like
Quick flex.
sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
I go to a lot of parties, guys.
A weird
very
flex, but
popular.
okay.
No, I'm not. I don't have.
Okay, we get it. You're invited to a lot of parties. You're the cool kid. Okay.
I go to parties sometimes, not a lot. I'll feel like super sick though, like to my stomach, genuinely.
Yeah.
And I'll actually sometimes I'll actually have to throw up, even just before parties that I want to go to. But then the second that I actually step into the party, I feel completely fine.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well then what was all that about?
Well, even
Exactly.
going into the mall today, that brought up a lot of anxiety. And
Yeah,
it was just really
you don't-
overwhelming.
Yeah, you don't do well with big crowds of lots of people.
Is it the crowds that do you in paid?
Yeah, what is it? You haven't even told me. What is it specifically?
Yeah, no, it just feels like everyone's watching you and your every move,
Mhm.
and that they can almost see through you. It's really,
Interesting.
it's uncomfortable. It's almost like you're exposed.
Yeah, I actually feel the opposite in the city.
Oh?
I felt that way more about back where we live.
Mm.
I'd be in the street doing something.
Because people actually know you.
Yeah, even just
That's the problem with a small town. Everyone knows who you are.
my mom is.
Is gay.
Well, yeah,
I'm just kidding.
sorry, mom.
I love you, Kathy.
Anyways, yeah, no, in the street, I'd be walking around, I'd be doing something, even though it's something I'd normally do, or it's nothing shady. It's not oh god, I'm on the street corner, child trafficking. I hope no one sees me.
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
That's
It's
not,
oh,
that's
I'm
not
gonna
something to
walk
joke
down the
about.
street at 12 and smoke a joint or something. But it's even just doing something small like that, I feel well, what if somebody saw me that's friends with my mom, and then even though she doesn't care I do it, what if they were oh my god, look at Kathy's son. But
Mhm.
here, nobody knows who I am,
Yeah, it's the
and
reputation.
nobody cares what I do.
I think that's why I'm so comfortable in Calgary already, despite being
Right.
by myself in a big city. I'm like, well, no one knows who the fuck I am, and no one cares. I'll just do what I want.
Exactly. It's like a fresh start. Instead of people remembering you for something retarded you did back in grade 3,
Mm-hmm.
people can remember you for like how smart you are current day
Yeah.
and who you've become rather than who you were.
Who
right?
you've become and who you're working up to be.
Exactly.
Like
Instead
the
of
few
being
people
like,
I interact with, they're like, "Oh, you're at SAIT. You're gonna be a railway conductor. That's really cool. Good luck, man. Have a good time out there."
exactly. But like no one's gonna make fun of me in Kelowna because I peed my pants in like the grade 3 Christmas play or something. Like
Did that
What?
actually happen?
Did that?
that
Yeah.
actually did not happen. I
Oh,
made that up. I
terrible.
wish
Aw.
it happened. That would be a good
Me
story.
too.
That would be a really
It'd be great podcast material. I want to hear that story.
There was one girl. There was one
It
girl,
was
Devin.
me.
I don't remember if you remember or if you were there. But this was back in grade 8 or 9 at the high school, and there was some person doing a performance or a speech or something in the gym, and they like threw up in front of everybody. 'Cause they got,
I
like,
do not
so-
remember that.
You don't remember that?
No.
Shit. I was about to go in there to like watch it, and everyone was being ushered out, and I was like, "What's going on in there?" And they were like, "Oh, you know, we just have like something we have to deal with, blah blah blah." And then I heard from dealer, and they were like, "Yeah, blah blah blah," was like up there, and then they just like straight up vomited on stage. I was like, "Oh shit,
Ooh.
that sucks."
I think in
Mm,
almost every
delicious.
assembly we have something happen. Like
Our
one-
assemblies are straight cursed, my guy. Like,
It feels like in like the
Fucking
recent
awesome.
years, at least one person faints at every assembly.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say.
who was it? Didn't Colby faint once? She was like,
Yeah, she fainted
Colby
during the
died.
Remembrance Day
Colby,
ceremony.
Blake.
Oh yeah.
mm,
When did Blake faint? Oh, that was when the dude was like talking about putting the
Oh.
in your EP after you
Yeah, accidents.
after you get in a drunk driving accident. Blake
And
just
he
like,
killed that family.
oh fuck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That
that was
was-
horrible.
I hate those assemblies. Like, I get the point they're trying to make, and they do a really good job, but I've heard the story a
Stereotypes.
1,000 times. I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
You go in there and you don't get anything unique. You're like, I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna watch an interview with some dude that like killed a family and he's been suffering his whole life for it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, yeah, I get it. It's really terrible. It's like, I don't know. They need to do something fresh in terms of teaching people like to be aware of, because yeah, the grade 8s, it works really well on the grade 8s because it's so shocking for the first time. It's
Yeah.
kind of like being thrown
It's
into an
like
ice
it's
bath,
raw
right?
material. You don't get the softened up version you get in
Right.
grade elementary school.
Right,
Grade
it
elementary
works
school, yeah.
really, really well. But when you're in grade 12 and you've seen it,
Yeah, that's the
For
fifth
the
time you've
fourth
seen
time,
it, so it's like,
for the fifth
okay.
time, I can't be mad.
Four.
Fourth time.
Well, or the fifth.
And if you're a
Like,
morbid
eight.
motherfucker like I am, you go into Live Week every week at least once and watch crazy shit. So you're like, oh,
Excuse me?
people die. Yeah, I what?
We're learning great things about each other here.
I watch people die sometimes.
Don't ever do that again.
Well, I
Oh yeah, being
No.
like in the railway conductor program, a few times we've been
Yeah, that's
shown
probably not
like
alright.
videos, because like anyone with common sense knows that trains are big and bad and they can do some real fucking damage to you. And
Oof.
we've
you're
Paul, one
doing
of the
the rough
instructors, has told us like raw, detailed stories of people getting straight cut in half by their own train. They're driving their own train and they get killed by it. It's like, what do you mean?
do they like get out and not put the train? I don't
The
know. There's
train
probably, I was just gonna say brake, but there's probably more of a procedure to actually like coming
Yeah.
to a stop than just putting on like a parking brake. But
I
yeah,
mean,
what,
parking
do people,
brake is
like,
gonna-
not, do people not follow like the procedure properly and they get out and walk on the tracks?
Basically, yeah, it's like
the train and just get crushed.
pretty much
Like-
it's like something doesn't line up properly or whatever, and the guy tries to make like a quick shortcut so then he doesn't have to waste 10 minutes to fix his mistake, and then he ends up getting his leg caught between two cars or something like that.
That's a big oof.
Jeez.
I would be so scared for the record to do that. Like, even if a train was at a complete stop,
Yeah.
I would never want to go onto one of the connectors, like jump up onto it and go in
Mhm.
between the train cars. Like, I'd never want to do that. That's fucking terrifying.
I think
Yeah, I do that.
I'll go
probably.
either around the or I'll go around the front, like far around the front. So if that bitch starts rolling out of time to fucking move.
I think probably the most gruesome one, which I'm gonna share because it's my podcast and fuck you. If you're uncomfortable with that, then
Your discretion is advised.
Yeah, if you have a queasy stomach,
I thought you were gonna say
skip.
if you ever
skip ahead like 2 or
If
3
you
minutes.
queef, then you need to get out.
Yeah, but
I
this
want to hear
was.
this. It's gonna be sick.
So as I think what it was like you got a bunch of freight cars sitting on a track, and then the guy's backing up to connect to them.
Right.
And I'm thinking that the knuckle was closed. It has to be open in order for the cars to connect and lock together. It can't if the knuckle is closed. So the guy was standing right in front of the knuckle between the rails to open it, and his train backed in and cut him right at the waist in between the two knuckles. He was literally, him being squished between the train was what was keeping him alive. His legs were
Yes.
detached on the ground. The knuckle itself was what was keeping him alive. So they
Oh
called
my
it.
God.
They called in
Yep.
his wife. They called in the priest. They said their final words, and as soon as they pulled the train apart, he basically fell everywhere, and that was it for him.
Yep.
Oh my god.
That's fuck. What would you even if that was me, though? I'd be like, "Okay, boys, just fucking shoot me at this point." Like, as fucked
Yeah.
up as it is, like I just want a bullet at that point. Like, there's no. I wouldn't want to sit there in half. Like, you know how scary that would be. That would be
Oh my
horrific.
god, yeah.
How much pain would you be in?
And pain and just all of that. Like, I don't know. To me, like, what are they gonna say? Well, you're fucked, buddy. Give me 5 minutes and call up your wife and say bye and shit.
That's pretty much what it was, yeah.
Jesus.
That's fucked up.
So, moral of the story, don't do that, Devin.
Yeah.
So we don't have to get a call.
Yeah, but I mean, why the fuck was he standing there?
Yeah, I mean there are rules in place, literally written in blood that says don't do this or you're gonna get screwed, and yet people do it anyway because they don't want to put in the extra 5 minutes to fix the little mistake they made.
Like, don't put your hand in a blender. Hey
Yeah.
guys, generic YouTuber here. If we hit 5,000 likes, I will literally stick my hand in a blender.
No, you gotta stick your penis in a blender. That's the real one now.
Yes.
Mine wouldn't reach the bottom. Just saying.
A little nubbin.
True.
A short.
So yeah, on a more happier note, interview went well.
Oh, good.
How's your life?
So, when do you hear back from them?
They said that we probably won't hear anything until the course is just about over.
Okay.
However, in a couple of weeks, CN comes in and interviews us as well, and because they're competing companies, they'll probably be pushing to give us a job sooner. So
Right.
So how does employment work in terms of, like getting employed there? Is it a lot more competitive, or is it just kind of like if I know my shit and I'm, and I do my, if I'm just a good worker, you get hired? Or is there a lot more than that? You have to be kind of different than the other people to get hired?
it's not really. It's because there's so many job openings at any given time. It's sort of like
Right.
if you're willing to work the really screwy 24/7 shift, then
The shitty shifts.
yeah, we'll hire you. You don't even get like special weekends off. You're working Christmas, you're working Remembrance Day, stuff like that. So, we also get because we're in the school with SATE, we already know just about everything there is to know. So we're more likely to get hired than just someone off the street. But we are still competing with someone who gets hired off the street, if you
Right.
put it like that.
Gotcha. How do you like the school, by the way? Like, not the program itself, but like the school itself.
The school
Like the campus and
itself, I feel like I've come in at a pretty bad year because everything's been turned upside down. There were some books we needed for a program that we needed
That you
at the
didn't
start
get.
of September, and they only just now came in, but our course is already over for that,
Nice.
so it's like,
Nice.
yeah,
So you paid tuition for books you didn't get. That's always good.
it's always fantastic. Residence, I would say if you can, go with East Hall, not Begin Tower, because Begin Tower is literally just a concrete box.
Dog shit.
Yeah.
It's a roof.
Also,
Yes,
here's
it's
a fun thing. We, for a couple days, we didn't have any hot water at all. The entire building was just cold water. Feels bad.
Oh.
So I'm gonna ask you. You gotta be honest with me. Did you bite the bullet or did you not shower?
I had a friend in East Hall who had hot water, so I went to his shower instead.
Cool.
Option C.
Yep.
None of the above. Damn it. Anyways, that's.
You
That-
tried
that-
you
I was
tried you
banking
tried to
on
get
that.
me there, but
I was fucking banking on that. That was my whole. That was everything.
your whole life savings went towards that bet, and you
No,
lost
actually,
it.
I went all in, and then like he flipped the cards, and I had like a 3 and a 1. And
That's why you don't bet with real money.
I only bet with peanuts
There you go.
Penis.
or with penis.
Um,
If I really need the money, then yeah, I'll do it. I'm
What
not
else-
gay, but
what else
$5
happened?
is $5.
trying to think what else happened between now and the last podcast. Oh yeah, this happened like a day after I recorded the last podcast. So, as part of our program, we're all trained in first aid, basic first aid and stuff like that. And then, it ended up being good because one of our classmates ended up having, I think, was a seizure. I won't
Right,
say.
you were saying.
Yeah, I guess I did tell you at some point. For his sake, I won't say who it was, but basically, couldn't have been in a better place at the time. Because he, who knows, he could have been in the bathroom by himself. He could have been driving home
yeah,
when this happened. But instead, he was in a class surrounded by 19 other people who were trained in first aid. So, we were all able to get there and help him, give him the best care possible, and then he was able to get to the hospital and get checked out.
Right.
I can just picture you guys like sitting there and thinking that it's like part of the class,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh shit, this kid's dying.
That was honestly how I felt. I hear like weird noises coming from one part of the class, and I look over, and he's doing like what you would expect from someone who's having a seizure. And my first thought is like, is this some sort of goof? Like, am I being pranked?
Yeah,
And
where
then
the camera?
and then suddenly he's like kneeling over, and shit's coming out of his mouth. I'm like, oh wow, this is real. Time to jump into action.
Oh,
there's
so
shit.
what did you guys do?
Basically, we cleared out his desks, gave him as much room as possible, so he's not, because
So
he's
he doesn't
sort of
bash his
spasming,
head
right?
off or
Yeah,
something.
you don't want that to happen. Got him in the recovery position, so then he's not choking on his vomit. At some point along the line, I think probably getting him out of his chair and onto the ground. At that point, he sort of bit his tongue, and it was like a huge chunk out of his tongue there.
Oh,
He's
So-
no.
Yeah, so
Oh shit.
that happened, but it didn't last long. I think it was only like a few minutes, and then he was sort of back up.
It's
Uh,
crazy how fast they come and go.
Yeah,
I know there was a kid too in my science class in grade 11 that had one, and it was really weird to see because it's not like in when they exaggerated in like cartoons and shit where they like just flip out.
mm-hmm.
It starts off really subtle, like it almost looks like they're just falling asleep, and
Exactly.
they just kind of like flop onto the floor and then start tweaking, and you're like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's really surreal. Yeah, and we did the same thing. We had to pull all the desks away from him and, get him in the recovery position, and then the paramedics came and just put him on
Yeah.
a stretcher.
And when they come to, they've got like brief amnesia too. They don't know who they are, where they are, stuff like that.
Yeah, they need to actually, like, recover.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting thing, the human brain, that's for sure.
The mind is a trippy place.
It is. Very, very crazy.
So yeah, that was a thing that happened. Um, yeah, that I think catches up most of the eventful things that happened while here in Calgary.
Here in Calgary. Yeah.
Hmm.
Nothing much goes on here, to be honest, except for my school.
Well, talk about your school. How's that going for you?
It's go good. We're filming a documentary in about a week's time
What's
at
that about?
Knox Mountain.
Are you allowed to disclose what the documentary is about?
Yeah, it's just like a promotional kind of thing.
Okay.
Like if you when you see those kind of like travelers ads
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, you know, this and this, and you get like interviews of why people like the area, and just really really simple shit like that. But
Are they being posted anywhere after?
yeah, it will be posted somewhere, probably on my YouTube channel actually.
You have a
Well,
YouTube channel?
www.
there's
Shameless plug,
youtube.com
shameless plug. Follow me on Twitter.
youtube.com/Ryan McIntosh. I have a Counter-Strike edit and a scuffed Fortnite edit. Go check it out.
Links in the
No,
description.
I don't. Yeah, I don't actually like really. As of right now, once I start actually making short films and narratives and stuff for my school, I will upload those. But as of right now, anything I upload is just for the sake of fucking around, and it is nowhere near like my actual full capabilities as a editor.
We need to get together because I have some ideas for short films and sort of like mini series.
I heard about that. Yeah, if you have any like scripts or anything, like fucking shoot them to me. I might actually be able to get, if they're good, I might
Whoa.
actually be able. Hey, that's not
Whoa.
not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
Rephrase.
I'm sure you're a great writer, Devin, but I'm just saying if they're interesting to me, I might actually be able to make some.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've just sort of when I've got
As long as
nothing
you're
better
not,
to
like-
do, I just
As long as you don't need like fucking like car chases and explosions and shit.
no, I don't do anything that ridiculous. I sort of like keep them within my own capabilities if I were to do these by myself, sort of deal.
Oh, cool.
So like
Definitely that.
most of them are only like one location, honestly, like
Oh,
in a
sick.
coffee shop or like a road somewhere.
There's literally a coffee shop on the other side of my school.
That's
It's very
fantastic.
cute.
Yeah, it's a nice coffee shop.
Did you ever
They have,
do junior
they have
drama?
Good breakfast wraps.
What, Devin?
Junior drama? I didn't take drama. Oh, by the way,
Well,
You cut out there. I
Maddie.
didn't hear what you said.
I didn't take junior.
Okay.
You remember? Well, of course you know Maddie Helmer.
Yeah.
He's at the school I'm at. Saw him yesterday. Or not
Oh, that's
yesterday, a
awesome.
couple days-
Just tell him
Yeah,
I
he's
say
just
hi.
like- I saw his Victor, because their thing on Knox Mountain, and of course Maddie directed it, right? So
Mhm.
it was the Maddie Helmer style, just completely just like bullshit and goofy, but absolutely hilarious.
That's the Maddie I know.
Oh yeah, they made it look like turbo shitty ghost shows that you'll just find on TV.
That's
You know?
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was hilarious because you're allowed to do whatever you want as a documentary for Knox Mountain. Every single film class does it as kind of your first major assignment.
Mhm.
And his class, yeah, they, instead of doing like a promotional thing, they just made like a fake like ghost story about it. It's absolutely hilarious.
so is the whole class doing it together?
Yeah,
Okay.
but one person is directing, which I
Right.
hope I can do. And if not, I'm gonna fight Cody for assistant director or something.
So you're sort of into more of the directing rather than the
Yeah,
actual.
that's kind of why I didn't take theater, because I'm not into acting
Okay.
at all. And I knew that, yeah, I might be able to get to the point of like Maddie can make stuff, but he's also like a really funny character.
Yeah.
I'm not that way at all. It's one of the
I'm pretty
behind
sure
the
like he
cameras.
writes his scripts and does a lot of that as well.
He does. He
Like-
absolutely does.
The trilogy that him and Jaffe did.
Jaffe made. Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that.
Like I'm sure like he did a lot of like those two together sort of direct and script like all of it. They do a shit ton of work for their
Oh,
films and
absolutely.
stuff. But
And it is a lot of work.
the reason I asked if you were in junior drama, because I remember junior drama, the one thing that like every class does was a bunch of short sketches from a thing called Check Please, which is basically a bunch of dates gone wrong. Like one quirky person,
Right.
like someone who's a
Right.
mime or like really into sports, like way too much into sports.
I was invited to one of the classes. My Ganalux English class was invited to one of their Check Please
Yeah.
skit things. And we saw it, and I think one or two were pretty chuckle worthy, but the other ones were just kind of awful.
I think we went to the same one.
Yeah, you might have been.
before.
I think I actually remember you being there.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I laughed really loud at one of the stupid scenes that Cole did.
Right. Yeah, Cole Yaz?
No.
No? Cole Campbell?
Mm.
Oh, I remember Cole Yaz in one of them, I think.
Oh. Okay, maybe it wasn't the same
Anyways, moving
Because
on.
I had wrote a script sort of that took inspiration from that, which is basically in a coffee shop. So,
Right.
but I tried to make it a
I
little
mean,
more.
that's super, super easy film.
Yeah.
Skits like that are really, really film. It's a lot in the performance.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch a lot of comedy films, a lot of the time the presentation isn't anything crazy at all. It's just super basic.
Yeah.
Kind of shot, reverse shot, like get a wide and whatever.
I feel
but
like there
it's
are
all in
too
the
many like films and comedy sketches nowadays that are more focused on the actual dialogue and nothing else that could potentially be funny.
I completely agree. I think that there's a lot of funny things you can do with the actual filmmaking rather than just like casting Adam Sandler and getting him to act like a retard for 2 hours.
Like every
Yeah,
comedy film nowadays.
Yeah, there are tons and tons and tons of movies that actually do a lot of like really,
Mhm.
really interesting. Like I don't know if you've ever seen Tropic Thunder. It's one
I
of
have
my
not.
favorite movies. It's literally a movie about people making a movie.
Ah, yes,
It's
the classic.
absolutely hilarious. It's so funny.
Like a play
making
about
fun
someone
of,
writing a play.
They're making fun of Apocalypse Now,
Okay.
that old movie about Vietnam, because their production was a complete mess, so they kind of like took the piss out of that. And it's just like watching Jack Black like loaded on cocaine is just the funniest thing ever.
Jack Black is an absolute legend.
Oh, he's hilarious. But yeah, no, there's tons of interesting things that they do with the actual filmmaking rather than
Yeah.
just pointing a camera and just saying be funny. That's the biggest problem. Like, I think ad-libbing is really funny
Mm-hmm.
in the right place. Like, look at the TV episode from Rick and Morty, for example. Like, that's
Yeah.
just like the perfect example of hilarious ad-libbing. But then there's the opposite side of the spectrum. If you look at like the new Ghostbusters, there was basically no script for that film. I don't know if you knew that. It was pretty much just very basic plot points.
Is that the one
And then they
like
just-
that was all the women Ghostbusters?
Yeah, that's the one.
The one
It
that
was just
nobody
basic plot
liked, and all the
points.
feminists were like, "Oh, it's just because you hate
Mhm.
women actors." Like, no,
Ew,
the film was
feminists.
trash.
Yeah, no, I would have hated it if it was men. Just saying,
Yeah.
it was turbo shit. Doesn't matter if you're women or not. It still sucked.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they just wrote down basic stuff, and the rest is ad lib. But the problem with ad libbing, in my personal opinion, is that it turns less about, oh, this line could be funny here, so I'm gonna say it. Like I don't know if you've seen like the original Dumb and Dumber,
Oh yeah,
where
think
he's
so.
walking out. He's walking out of that bar, and Jim Carrey saw their framed picture of the first Apollo
Mhm.
newspaper clipping, and he was just like, "No way! I can't believe that!" And he like screamed, "We landed on the moon," when he left, as if like to imply that he didn't even know
Mm-hmm.
that one, that was an old newspaper clipping, and two, that we even landed on the moon yet. Just
Yeah.
completely hilarious and like fits in with the character, and he just made it up because it fit there and it was really funny.
The risk
But
with ad-libbing in films, though, is that you sort of throw off either the scene or even the entire storyline of the
right, yeah,
film.
you need an actor that really, really knows the tone
Mm-hmm.
and his character to ad lib something that fits both.
Yeah.
I agree, and that's not even what I was going to say, but that's a very good point. Um, I was saying that when you get a lot of actors that are funny and you tell them to ad lib, you get this kind of one trying to outdo the other effect. And you can tell
Yeah.
that all they're doing is just trying to be funnier than each other. And a lot of the times, like, it's they're not just picking out things to make up because they kind of fit and are funny. They're just like, oh, that girl said something funny, I need to say something funnier.
Yeah.
And then it just turns into this big like jerk off fest where they're just trying to outdo each other for
It
like an
gets to the
entire
point where there isn't even any story progression. They're all just saying dumb shit.
exactly. It's just a bunch of stupid crap that one isn't even funny. I don't know if you have a problem with this. I actually want to know your opinion on this.
I
The
think
whole
if
North American comedy where people seem to think that being loud equals funny.
yeah.
Does that irritate you as much as it
Yeah,
irritates me?
I mean that's why like sitcoms like The Big Bang Theory and all like the quote hits sitcoms are oddly enough the ones I never watch, where like all it is just quirky characters being stupid, and in certain scenarios I would be okay, yeah, sure, that's funny, but with a show like The Big Bang Theory, it just gets repetitive, and it's just like, okay, well, this character's just gonna do this, and okay, well, he's the idiot of the group. Okay,
I
Sheldon doesn't
totally
get
agree.
sarcasm. Okay, Raj can't talk to women. Okay, I'm bored now. Give me something intelligent. Give me something smart. Something unique. You know?
Yeah, when every episode devolves to, wow, look at how awkward Sheldon is, isn't that funny? Wow, look how pathetic Leonard is, isn't that funny? Look how Raj is so bad with women, isn't that funny? Oh,
Look
look
how
how
blonde Penny is. Isn't that funny?
yeah, look how dumb she is, guys. Isn't it funny that she's really dumb? It's like, no, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
The funniest, and everyone seems to miss the point. I was watching The Big Bang Theory kind of when it first started, and like the first episode, first two seasons. I think I
Yeah.
stopped at the third season about halfway through. The thing that I found funny about The Big Bang Theory is because it was literally just a show about a bunch of loser nerd fucking engineering kids. And it was
Yeah.
funny because that's like exactly what it would be like
Yeah. It
for a bunch of
was.
nerds taking engineering. Like it was just hilarious. And then it started getting completely ridiculous where like Sheldon started becoming like an actual fucking like
Human
celebrity,
being.
like scientist and just all sorts of stupid shit that
Mhm.
it just made it go completely off the rails.
Yeah. And then I think by the end of like this is their last season. I don't know if it's finished already, but by now like they're all married, I think. So it's like they've gone from being complete nerdy scientist morons to like I want to say legit people, but even that feels like it's overstepping with who they are. But I don't don't get me wrong about Big Bang Theory. It started off really well. They had a unique
Humble
idea,
beginnings for sure.
like four scientists trying to work out with the rest of the world that doesn't quite understand them. Okay, yeah, that's a cool idea. I think it went on far too much longer than it needed to.
That's everything's problem these days. Like the look at the Simpsons, it's still going, and it stopped being funny like 20 seasons ago.
Yeah,
Same with SpongeBob. SpongeBob stopped being funny like 15 seasons ago, and it's still going.
somehow.
And yeah, but the thing is they lose their older fans while gaining new ones
Hmm.
because you lose all the people that like the smart kind of, well thought out writing and stuff, and then mainly just writing in those shows, and then you kind of gain the people that are like, oh, I like really stupid surface level brainless humor,
Yeah.
and you kind of get that trait, and unfortunately there's more of, and I don't mean to insult anybody, but there's more dumb people in the world than there are smart people. So by losing your smart audience, you're gaining a hell of a lot more dumb people. So the numbers look good, but
Yeah.
and that's all the film world is about, is money. Unfortunately, that's just the nature of the industry I'm going into, which I don't agree with. I'd rather make less money and make very, very well received films than make more money and just pump out stuff like Michael Bay does.
That's something that I can respect, and I'm honestly the same way. If I get into doing like any of the short films or mini episodic things that I want to do, I honestly think I'll just put them on YouTube for everyone to see. I'm not going to try and make a single cent out of them, and just honestly do it because I can. Really, if it's something that I enjoy doing, then I'm going to do it, whether I get money for it or not.
Yeah, like that's just, yeah. I'd rather make something that I'm proud of than make something. Well, like Paiten wants to be a cook.
Mm-hmm.
So would you, like, what do you think? Would you rather make like food that you're really proud to serve people and make less money, or would you rather just devolve into like the fast food kind of really shitty food and make more money?
No, I think by serving better food, it'll eventually make its way up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And more people will notice it, and in the end, it'll just be a better outcome.
Yeah, and you'll get recognized more for
Exactly.
quality.
Yeah, everyone knows Bobby Flay. Nobody knows the chick that served me McDonald's yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
I do.
Oh.
She takes my science class.
Oh, shit.
She's trying to pay off her fucking tuition. I know who she is. But yeah, a lot of people are a lot more driven by money. They'd rather sell out their passion because they make more money.
Mm-hmm.
Which is unfortunate, because there's a lot of, as much as people say, oh, this person sucks, this person's garbage, I think a lot of those people that are generalized in that category, like even Michael Bay, for an example, I hate him. But I feel like if he actually bothered to give a shit, he could produce pretty good films.
Yeah.
But the problem is he doesn't. Adam Sandler's the perfect example. If you look at a lot of his older films, like Wedding Singer and stuff like that, or Punch Drunk Love, they aren't the greatest films in terms of the actual filmmaking aspect, but his performance is easily the best one. And he's hilarious when he actually tries.
Yeah.
But he makes just as much money, if not more, not trying. So to him, there's no difference. It's just, oh, I can make more money. It's just a paycheck.
Yeah, and
which is
it's kind of really sad that that's the way money takes people these days. It's no longer about the passion project that we started when we were kids. It's more about making as much money as possible.
Right, and that's the biggest problem with a lot of studios too. Studios will fire Marvel. Marvel is actually really bad for this. Really notorious for this, is firing directors that have really creative ways to take things, simply because they don't want to conform to Marvel's, stamp and send out factory film kind of ways.
Yeah.
And it's not like Marvel makes trash films, because they don't. They make very, very fine,
honestly,
fun
Marvel makes some
films.
pretty superb films, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, but it's very factory. Everything's meant to be a specific way and whatnot. And I would prefer to see more creative things done, which I think is happening now that they've realized that R-rated superhero films can actually do good, a la Logan and Deadpool.
Yeah. Logan was an absolutely fantastic film.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Logan was very good, and I'm not a fan by any means at all. Black Panther was terrible. I'm just gonna... Sorry,
All right,
guys.
Eric Cartman. But yeah,
What else we got?
even like the pressure from media and stuff when people sort of gang up on one corporation, like even
Right.
Disney, if we want to go back to the uh, director for Guardians of the Galaxy,
Oh
who's
fuck! What was his name? James Gunn? Is
yeah,
that his
James
name?
Gunn.
James
Like
Gunn.
these multi-million-dollar corporations who could probably hire anyone to make a film and still make a profit no matter what people thought, and they're
Did you?
still firing, one person because peer pressure. I want to say it's probably a terrible
Yeah,
whatever.
it's really annoying. I'm seeing this a lot more in the. It's affecting the video game industry more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Is big companies are scared now to like look at Battlefield 5 for example. The game's just coming out now.
Yeah.
It's in early access for people that have Origin access or whatever, and I've been playing it a bit. I really like the game, but it's a shame that they had to include female characters and they had to not,
Yeah.
put swastikas in the game because simply EA, as a massive company, is like, we don't want the backlash
Mm-hmm.
of people being like, oh, this game's racist, and then putting out a bunch of their hit pieces and calling the game racist. They'd much rather just say, fuck it, we're gonna limit your creative and artistic integrity
Mm-hmm.
to avoid this. And the dumb part is that if EA and these big publisher companies realize the people that will say, oh, Battlefield 5 is sexist because it doesn't have women, those people aren't going to play the game whether there's women in it or not.
Mm-hmm.
They're just looking to make money off of their hit piece. And anybody who actually wants to buy the game isn't going to go on Kotaku or some shitty games journalist site that nobody goes on anyways, except like single mothers.
And that's where
It's
we fall back to the whole money thing, because small groups to giant corporations are afraid they're going to lose out on that extra dollar if they don't
exactly,
conform to the pressure they're receiving from the media or the
exactly.
internet
But
or
go
whatever.
go talk to any like women or even men on the internet that are like, "Oh, Battlefield 5 so sexist," and ask them.
I feel like
And if
that's
and then,
honestly such a minority, but they're so much more vocal than the people that don't
yeah,
care.
they would never ever buy the game regardless. They'll make a big shitstorm and say, "Oh, there's no women in the game. It's so sexist." Blah blah blah. And then Dice will be like, "Okay, we'll put women in the game then." As soon as women in the game comes out, those people still haven't bought the game
No.
because they don't care about buying the game or playing it. That's what the people that make the big shitstorms aren't actually people who would buy the game anyways.
They're just
Like,
looking to stir the pot to get some attention, is all.
exactly. And it's completely ridiculous that that's the way it is, and it's really a shame. And I'm not saying that you're not allowed to criticize a game that you like. In fact, I think it's the opposite. If you're truly a fan, I think that you should criticize games you like to help them be better.
Absolutely.
And you shouldn't be a blind fanboy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, the people that make the stupid social justice warrior arguments aren't real fans of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're making legitimate criticisms like, oh, this game mode is really unbalanced, or these maps are really unbalanced, or this gun is overpowered, it needs to be fixed, or I'm not buying the game until they fix this major bug, that's completely fine and completely
I mean, no, that's like legit constructive criticism.
absolutely.
If you have something that you think would probably improve the game, and it might very well improve the game. Some good game critics know what can make a quality game because they've played a shit ton. So, those are the arguments that you want to listen to. If it's just like a hate group that's made their own free website using Wix in order to bash the next Call of Duty game because, they don't have black women on the teams, and it's like, well, you're just trying to stir the pot. That's all you're doing.
Yeah, that's really cool. I have something to ask Peyton actually.
Oh.
Because
Oh yeah,
she
Payton's
actually
here.
doesn't. We were talking about Marvel. Back to that, she doesn't like Guardians of the Galaxy, and I actually want to
Blasphemy.
know why. I want to know why.
Actually, Devin and I were talking about this back last year
Yeah,
We were?
no judgment.
because a couple of friends and Devin told me to watch it.
Right.
And I just found it to be the most boring movie.
Interesting.
One of the most boring movies I've seen. And I hated the acting, and I'm not sure why.
I think that
That's
you're
truly
on
interesting.
I think you're on the lines of Ron. Actually, I think you have the same opinion as him in terms of Marvel stuff.
It didn't appeal to me in any way, shape, or form.
I think it's the way that they're. Does it irritate you the way that they try to crack little jokes a lot of the time or all the time? Because that's part of their acting, kind of.
That's kind of Marvel's shtick nowadays. Is just it's an action movie, but it's also funny.
You just can't put your finger on it. It was
just their character. They just drove me insane. I hated
everybody.
Everybody drove me up the wall. I could not stand to finish watching the movie, and I didn't.
Do you normally dislike Marvel movies, or is it just Guardians of the Galaxy?
Guardians of the Galaxy stood out by a big chunk.
That's interesting.
Because a lot of people consider it to have a lot more unique characters than the other joke on 911. The other
yeah.
That's actually really interesting.
I don't know. I might have to try to rewatch it, but it just came off annoying to me.
I think that you should try to rewatch it and not. You don't even have to go into it with a fresh mind.
Yeah.
You could even go into it and say, "Okay, this is gonna suck. I hate this," but just really pay attention to what specifically irks you.
Yeah, no, I definitely could.
I'm genuinely interested to know why. Because I like it. I don't think it's high art or anything. I wouldn't go and be like, "Yeah, this is a filmmaking marvel." See what I did there?
Hey.
Yeah, moving on from that horrendous joke.
Okay.
I mean, there's no doubt that Guardians stands out as far as a Marvel movie goes. It's definitely.
It does, and I don't really like Marvel, but I like Guardians of the. I'd probably give it maybe a 6 out of 10 for me. But yeah, I just want to know why you absolutely despise it. I think that's a very interesting point, and you're lucky that I'm not a massive Marvel fanboy because I'd be interested in your opinion if I was. But
honestly, I don't know. It never intrigued me by any means.
Yeah, I didn't really dig the second one, and a lot of people did.
I don't dare to watch any more of them.
I thought the second one there was a lot of things done better, but I thought a lot of the time for the second one, I felt that it was just Baby Groot fan service.
Yeah.
Which annoys me. And one thing that really, the new Halloween movie came out, and we saw it the other night.
Yeah,
actually.
we just.
I could get into a 3-hour podcast with you about my thoughts on it.
Good thing there's no time limit here. We can go all night if we want.
It's true. You'd have to label it as a film podcast.
We've already
a trilogy of 5. This is part 1.
True, absolutely. But yeah, a lot of people at my school really, really liked it, and I didn't think it was very great. I thought it was maybe a 4 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
For me. There was some cool shit in it that I liked, but there was so much garbage in it. And a lot of people really liked it, and after I saw it, just the amount of fan service that they put in, which even I enjoyed, but I'm conscious that I'm being manipulated by nostalgia.
Yeah.
And nostalgia factor doesn't make a good film.
That's
at all.
Absolutely.
And people seem to be able to go into a movie nostalgic about the old film and just love it off of the nostalgia. For me, if I want a nostalgia trip, I'm gonna just go watch the original movie. There's no reason for me to watch some new piece of shit just because it has a couple callbacks. If I truly want to just enjoy the nostalgia that I felt while watching the original one, just go watch the original one.
That's another thing. Some people can go into a movie thinking that it's gonna be absolutely fantastic, and then it's actually a shit movie, but they still think it's the best thing ever because they really,
Ghostbusters.
yeah, they went thinking that it was gonna be great.
Yeah, it's a big.
I'm
For
pretty.
me, I've had the opposite. I went into movies thinking they were gonna be dog shit, and I've come out and been like, wow,
Yeah,
that was actually really good. Or the opposite, I've gone in super, super hyped. I remember my biggest letdown ever. I'm still like choked about this, and it's when did this thing come out? Hold on, I gotta do some research real quick.
Oof. He's breaking out the keyboard.
Yeah, dude, I think it was in 2011. Yeah, 2011.
oh,
They remade or they made a prequel to John Carpenter's The Thing. And it's one of my favorite movies even today. Absolutely one of my favorite horror films ever. Remade it, saw the trailers, nostalgia hit me. I was like, holy shit. I get to find out what happened before the events of the original one. Like, that's super cool. And they completely fucked it.
Oof.
They just destroyed my hopes and dreams. I remember I was genuinely, my dad, because this was 2011, so I was 11 years old. You can't get into an R-rated movie at 11, so I really wanted to see it. My dad, actually, something came up and he was like, I can't go to the movie with you, I'm sorry, I have this thing. And I was like, I went like straight bipolar for like 3 days. I was so upset because I was so hyped to see this movie. And then his thing got canceled and we were able to go again. And I went, and for the first 5 minutes, I enjoyed the shit out of it. I was like, holy man, this is the greatest thing ever. But by the end of it, I was like, fuck. It's like that thing where they say you should never meet your role models.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what was happening to me. I was like, I kind of just wish I felt the hype of seeing the trailers instead of seeing the movie because it blew ass.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like a lot of people would have gone into it loving the first one and just been like, well, I loved the first one. Wow, I'm feeling the nostalgia. This movie's awesome. Rather than like, yeah, the nostalgia feels nice, but is the movie actually good? No.
Nostalgia motivates me a lot to watch movies, especially like
It motivates
just earlier today I watched The Incredibles 2 because I remember The Incredibles
the first
and I
one.
was like, oh, this is really good. And then I watched the second one. It wasn't too bad, I think. Although I haven't seen the first one in a really long time, so I didn't really have that to compare.
Yeah.
Um,
I usually watch if I'm going to see a sequel or something, I usually watch the original one first, just to kind of
as a
get
refresher.
an idea. Yeah, because sometimes you'll see a movie, or I'm sure there's tons of movies that you regard as really, really good from your childhood, but if you rewatched them now, you'd probably be like, wow,
Oh,
this is
absolutely.
horrible, why'd I like this?
Like, I grew up with Hot Wheels Acceleracers. I had all of the
Oh,
movies,
yeah.
and I would watch them at least every weekend. I went back and watched them again on YouTube there, and I was like, wow, this animation is garbage.
Oh yeah, I used to watch the old Looney Tunes. My dad had them all on VHS. He used to tape them all on
Mhm.
TV, and that's what I used to watch way back in my day. Hayden probably used to watch that show called Land Before Time.
oh, I still do.
Yeah.
I have all of the
You'll be
movies
that shit.
except for one.
How many are there?
Oh
I bet
God.
you know off the top of your head. I bet you know.
I want to say 12.
Let's see.
I just gotta Google it now.
More did come out though. Once I stopped watching.
What's the
them.
cutoff point? What do you say for date?
What do you mean?
For like which
Oh.
the date that we'll cut it off at?
That I stopped watching.
That you stopped watching. See, this is the plot twist. She never actually stopped watching.
I want to say when I was about. God, I don't know. 11?
11 said 2011.
No, 2012.
2012? And you're saying 12 movies.
I guess so.
These aren't in order.
No, they are not. So, in order. Okay,
There we go.
here we go. Great Valley Adventure.
So probably here, hey?
Yeah.
So that's-
I have that one.
You do?
Yes.
That's 13. You said 12. That's
Yeah.
pretty close.
That's pretty close.
That's pretty close. I'd say that's a solid effort right there.
13.
Actually, that's gonna
Yeah.
be my grad quote. It's from The Land Before Time. Just saying.
But yeah,
I thought you grad.
know-
We were direct messaging each other, and you had a brilliant grad quote that you're gonna use.
Oh, I actually put that as a caption for my Instagram post, and I got a lot of comments about it.
She blew her load too early.
So thank you for that.
Yeah. No, it's you almost had it bang on. That's
Yeah.
pretty funny, actually.
So I think I didn't have the one where the mysterious like blue long neck showed up in that canyon.
So technically 12 then, because you probably haven't seen one of these then.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Let's see. Let's hover over them.
If she actually got it bang on the amount that she's seeing, I'm gonna lose it.
Do you think that was the 1-to-1?
I do
Really?
think that one of them
I have
doesn't count. And
I'm
she
ready for
actually
this.
Is 12. I have a lot of
the
faith.
mysterious flower. I have that one. That's with Chomper. This one.
That's the one you haven't seen.
That's one I don't have. I think I saw it once when I was little. I
You
have
definitely
that
have
one.
that
I
one.
just watched that one the other day.
You're right.
I mean, what?
The Big Freeze.
I have the Big Freeze. Journey to Big Water with Mo. I have that one. I have that one. Oh,
I haven't seen that one.
I don't know. So I have seen the other one, though. I have that one.
Right.
What's this one?
Journey of the Brave.
It's not coming out.
2016. Yeah. Direct to video.
So that how many
That's
is
like
that?
the death sentence. Direct to video.
Honestly, I might have. Okay, we need to look up clips.
Okay.
This is great.
I mean,
This is real great podcast material here.
this isn't good
Oops.
for the audience at all.
Yes, it is. It's fine.
it's-
it's
If I edit and put the clips up, then maybe. But I don't think this'll.
it'll be.
Petrie. Yeah, and he's doing great.
Oh god, copyright strikes.
Oh, is
I
this
can-
copyright?
Yeah, hang on.
Oh, oops.
You guys didn't hear anything. Sorry, whatever company owns this. Don't.
Don't
stick.
I mean, from what I heard, the audio was complete trash. So whatever
Oh,
shitty
it
algorithm
doesn't
YouTube
count
has, then it
anyways.
probably won't recognize that it's some.
I used to watch all the old Looney Tunes on VHS, as I was saying. Those were my childhood.
Mhm.
Thankfully, I don't have any fond memories of things that I really liked being bad. I went back and watched a lot of things that I've seen, and even now I'll watch them and I'll be like, wow, I remember this being just as bad when I first watched it when I was like 6 years old.
Dude, I think I've seen this.
You probably have.
I think that's 12. Bang on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Damn.
There it
we're
is.
good.
She's thick.
Oh yeah, I'm a thick boy.
Payton's got the numbers.
I like the quick boy.
Nice.
I guess to sort of bring this movie talk to full circle, I think the reason why I enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy. Remember we were talking about that at some point.
We were at some point.
The reason I like Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, is because, or the reason I guess it stands out more is because it's more loose, a little more looser feel. Like, I mean, for Christ's sakes, the second movie ends with Pac-Man fighting a literal demigod. So
Right.
it's more, it's less, I want to say less serious than the regular Marvel movies.
I know what you're saying,
I
and
sorta-
I think that's a big issue with a lot of Marvel is that they want to put in all this comedy,
Mhm.
as Marvel loves to do, but they also want their main plot line of the baddie that is trying to destroy the universe to be taken very seriously.
Mhm.
But how can you when they're trying to crack jokes all the time? And I'm not saying that movies that are trying to be serious should be like sad bastard movies.
No.
Like, look at like Quentin Tarantino films. Those movies are so funny and have so much comedy. I just get like a massive like film boner for Quentin Tarantino.
Keep it in your pants, Ryan.
I'm
yeah,
trying, I'm
Ryan.
trying.
See that?
But he makes like I can really take his movies seriously, but at the same time I can laugh at a lot of the comedy that are in them.
Mhm.
Marvel, the other way, like I'll laugh at the comedy sometimes. A lot of the time for me it's really cringy.
I think like
But
with
I can't do both.
yeah.
I can't have all these goofy characters trying to be funny all the time, but then also be like, okay, we're not being funny now because this guy is about to destroy the universe, and then in the next scene they're all being funny again.
Mhm.
Like I can't switch gears.
And it's
like
also
that.
like with the entire MCU, with the exception of Guardians of the Galaxy, which is why it stands out. The entire MCU is like very scientific in their universe. This is physically possible, which is why it's taken so seriously. Meanwhile, with Guardians of the Galaxy, it's like, oh yeah, fuck it, anything's possible. We'll just jump through 30,000 wormholes, you know?
Yeah.
It's almost
Yeah,
like
Guardians
Guardians
of the
is
Galaxy
like
is kinda
Marvel's
like the-
chance to just sort of blow their gasket and do whatever they want.
Exactly. And James Gunn as a director is really that kind of guy.
Hmm.
When you listen to him in interviews, well, before they fired him, rest in peace, James Gunn.
Yeah.
God bless.
They'll find more work. He's a very, very
Yeah.
talented director. He doesn't need Marvel, but
He's in talks with DC to do the next Suicide Squad.
he absolutely could save DC from the current drain that they've been circling for
Mhm.
a very long time.
Yeah.
As I open a mint.
So to wrap up this very long segment, Paiten, if you're gonna watch it again, I'd say go in with less of a serious vibe and more of just sort of anything can happen, will happen.
Absolutely, I will do that.
And if you still hate it, tell us why.
Then we have a problem.
You
I'm gonna eat
did
up.
this.
What else is there? Paiten, how's life with you? What's happening?
Good. I actually just got accepted into a culinary arts program.
Yay!
So I moved
Clapping.
in June. Yay, clapping. Yeah. I think that's it.
Nah, you can tell more.
Oh,
You got more in you.
do I?
You
What-
absolutely
Like
do.
what?
You got accepted, and she's the first. I mean, you can tell about the school. You're the first one in.
Oh, ever since the new teacher started working there, I've been the first student to join a culinary arts program.
Out of high school.
Out of high school, yeah.
I see.
So that was
Which is
exciting.
interesting.
Fun.
Um,
So you'll be probably the youngest there then, right?
what's that?
You'll probably be the youngest there then, in that case.
Probably.
Yeah, she's probably gonna be in my shoes. I'm the youngest in my college class as well.
Mm-hmm.
My birthday is kind of early though, but
That's true.
I don't know. We'll see.
I feel like,
Cool.
as far as post-secondary goes, it's less common now for people to jump into post-secondary right after high
Straight
school.
out of high school.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's very true.
My good friend that I met actually took engineering for 2 years at U of S before coming here.
Hmm.
And he worked as an engineer for a year. So he has fat dough. He has like 12 watches, like expensive ones.
I have one expensive watch, and it's not even like seriously expensive.
But yeah,
Mm.
he And everybody else that I've talked to, you know, that's even just a slightly older than year off to work, year off to work, year off to work.
Yeah.
None of them are, yeah, I got out of high school and came straight here. I'm the only one that I've talked to.
Even just a year off for work and then going to post-secondary seems like it's like not as common. Like a lot of people that I'm seeing around campus and even in my program, like they've been doing other stuff for the better of 10, 20 years.
Right.
Yeah.
It kind of feels, for me anyways, I kind of want to know what you guys think about this, because it's kind of funny that we're all in the same boat in terms of post-secondary straight out of high school when it's not very common.
Yeah.
I'm kind of trying to think how to put this.
Uh-oh.
Nah, it's not bad.
Ryan's thinking, oh god, here we go.
Yeah, that's really
I don't do that.
Don't. I
Usually
know.
I just do things and then
Believe
people
me.
tell me, no, Ryan, bad.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay.
Bad boy, down. Go in your
Smack
corner.
on the hand.
But it kind of, like, it feels good, and I'm kind of proud to be the youngest one almost, because
Yeah.
even though I feel like I have
Yeah.
a lot to prove in terms of being the youngest one, I feel like I can absolutely outdo a lot of the people that are way older
You're
and show that, yeah, I'm 17 and I'm the youngest one, and I came straight out of high school to living on my own,
Mhm.
but I can handle it better than these people.
you're just as capable, if not more.
Exactly. And I don't know if you guys feel that way, or if you
Mhm.
if you
Yeah.
feel like, oh god, I'm intimidated because I'm young. and
Oh,
blah, blah.
definitely.
It's sort of
I'm
like a bit of both
sure.
for me. It's like, well, I'm not only am I intimidated because like these guys are older and they
your-
have more
yeah,
experience.
don't mean to interrupt you, but in your class, there's probably people that are pretty damn old. I'd
Yeah,
say,
I think
right?
the oldest guy is like in his early 40s.
Yeah, the oldest person in my class is 26. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
just to kind of give you an idea how old people can be going into your line of work.
Yeah.
Not that that's old.
But it's
compared
like
to us.
yeah. But like it's sort of like a bit of pressure and intimidation from them because like they're older, they have got more experience. Even if it's not in this specific course, it's more in life in general. They've worked at like the one guy was in HR. There was another guy who was actually on the railway. He was in the track gangs, and now he wants to be the conductor.
Right.
So they've got more experience versus me coming fresh out of high school, you know, trying to be the hot kid on the block, thinking I know
Right.
everything.
Right.
And like, yeah. I kind
Which
of
I
like
know
have
that
to
you won't.
prove that I know my shit, but at the same time, you know, not overstep it. Otherwise, I'm just going to get looked down on by all these guys being like, oh, look at this young whippersnapper thinking he knows everything.
Right, and absolutely did feel that way for my first week. I
Mhm.
was like, yeah, I'm young. People are gonna just think, yeah, this kid's young, but there's another kid in my class that's a complete brainlet that I could go into
Oh.
a lot of depth about, which I won't because I will be here tonight. But it's just, you get there and you're like, wow, people are gonna think that I'm young, and just because I'm young, I don't know anything.
Mhm.
But nobody there that's actually in my class gives a shit at all how young
Yeah.
I am. Like, they talk to me just like they talk to everyone else, and based on the conversations I've had with them already, they can instantly tell, like, yeah, he may be young, but he's not
Mhm.
immature. Like, he's still very capable of being here. Unlike this other kid who's 18 and he's just useless, to be quite frankly.
I honestly have that exact thing. Like I get along well with the older gentlemen in the class. Like I'm pretty much best friends with a guy who's like I think 26. Like we go out and I'm gonna nerd out a bit here. We go out no. We go out and do the one thing you all know me to do on my spare time.
Watch trains.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
this guy's older than like almost 10 years older than I am. But like I feel like I'm more accepted among the older gentlemen. Meanwhile, there's another student who's 18 as well who's just like that grade 8 kid that we all hate.
Well,
He's
I
just
mean, you and I are
like
very-
he's
Go ahead.
sort of, he's still got that immature mentality. He's still sort of trying to get attention from everyone by doing just stupid shit, you know.
trying to be the funny kid in that kind of bullshit.
And that's, I think it's people like that, whether they're few and far between or they're more common, I don't know, I haven't done the research, but I feel like it's people like that, and like the kid that you're talking about is why, you know, older people sort of have the mentality that, oh, this young kid, he's got no idea what he's doing, he's just going to be a pain in my ass for this whole semester.
Absolutely, I 100% agree that people like that completely taint our age group, and I almost feel responsible when I go to a place where there's a lot of older people to be the mature person that I know I am.
Yeah.
Not that I have to pretend, because I absolutely don't. Like, I act the same way I do even when I'm just with my friends that I do at school. Like, I act exactly the same. But I feel like it's my duty to be there and show, like, hey, all those other kids, they're just retarded, and they don't represent everybody in our age group.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels good to do that in a way. Do you
Mhm.
think that it is a shame that it has to be that way? Because most adults see us like that, and I think the reason that you and I are the way we are, because we're the same even in high school. I know that you found a lot of our age group just as repulsive as I did.
Oh my god, yes. I would try to like hang out with the older grades thinking they'd be more mature, only to be proven
And
wrong.
they weren't.
Yeah.
And they weren't. That's the thing about high school, is everyone pretends, oh, I'm in grade 12, so I'm better than you in grade 8. And it's like, I can just sit there and be like, no, my brother's in grade 8, he's more intelligent than you are. So he's more fucking easy to talk to than you are. Like, I can talk to my brother and actually have, like, a good conversation, whereas I talk to you and all you care about is, like, who that person is dating and...
Oh my god,
you know,
yes.
how...
If we want to get started on how shit high school is for that reason, fucking, oh my god, I could go on
We
forever.
can absolutely have a cool, for sure. I'm down.
I despise all the people, and mostly men in high school, that just all they give a shit about is banging the hottest girl in their grade, and they have to tell all of their friends like, hey, yeah, I just totally fucked Samantha last night. Oh yeah, you should have seen her, man. Like,
Samantha.
Sure.
Beatrice.
but like,
I like that you called them. That's the funniest enigma to me. Calling boys in high school men is not something that you should do.
Yeah.
That's giving them a lot more credit.
but you see what I'm saying though? Like, that's like all they care about is just who's dating who, and like who can they get on with to impress their
I have a
friends.
friend.
That's like,
You epitome of that. Even though he graduated, he's still the same.
Oh, I know this person.
You absolutely do know this person.
Devin, you actually know this
You know
person too.
yeah.
which person is this?
Uh,
Logan
Oh,
Hagen.
you're gonna say it.
I'm gonna say it. I'm doxing him. Doxed him.
Exposed.
His relationship has just been on and off for how many years?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
no, I don't.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't wanna get into
even
it all.
Trombley was making fun of him, calling him an on and off again, like throughout
yeah,
most of
he is-
high school.
Oh yeah, Trombley used to like get on. But the thing that would kind of irritate me the most about it is like, fucking love the guy. Really, really good friend.
He's
of
very
mine.
sweet. He took care
Very
of me.
nice guy for sure, absolutely.
Love
but
him.
he's just a high school fuckboy in his heart, and that's the way he is.
Mhm.
And he doesn't care too. Like, you can call
No.
him out for it, and he's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Good for him. For
That's the
being
kind of
that way.
cool guy you want to be friends with.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was one kid that I knew. I still know. I'm not gonna actually say his name because I actually want to get into a lot of stuff that he did that I knew about. I was sitting on the bus one day, and my headphones had died. So I usually listen to music because,
Mhm.
again,
You're on a bus. Why wouldn't you listen to music? You don't want to listen to all the other
most
idiots.
of the kids in high school are absolutely wretched. But
Can confirm.
yeah, I had my headphones off. I was kind of like dozing off a bit, just in the seat with my head like on the window, and I kind of heard them like start up their fuckboy talk,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of perked up because it's such like a shock to the system hearing it. It like it hits you like right in the cringe
Yeah.
reflex, where like you can hear the way that they're talking and their speech patterns and what they're saying, and it just instantly hits you, and you're like, oh god.
It's like the kind of music that no matter what you do, you just can't fall asleep listening to. Like as soon
Yeah.
as these kids start talking, it's like, well, I got nothing. I can't do anything else.
Yeah, it's like fuck. Guess I'm listening now.
Yeah.
But they were exchanging like dumb comment after dumb comment after dumb reaction after very very unintellectual fucking observation, and I don't know how it segued into this, but and I don't remember the exact way he worded it. He didn't just come out of nowhere and say it like I'm about to, like they actually segued into it.
Mm-hmm.
But I overheard him talk about how he writes down in his phone in Notepad like the girl's name and then like a dash and then everything that he's like done with them very
What?
specifically.
Why?
So if
Oh
he's
my
if he's
God.
made out with one, he'll put it just that. And I'm not even and if like he's banged them, he doesn't just put like had sex with this one. No, he's a lot more specific than that.
Goes
Let's
into
just put it that way.
explicit detail that you probably shouldn't
Absolutely.
go into.
Which is
Ew.
I'm pretty sure that's illegal to have like a database like that in your phone, like for starters. And I was so repulsed at what I was hearing. Like I couldn't believe it. It took me I was sitting there and I was in genuine shock. I couldn't believe it. I was just one of those things that if somebody told you like, yeah, it was a high school bus and I heard a kid talk about it, you'd be like, yeah, that seems like something that would happen.
Mhm.
But when you're hearing it firsthand, you're like, there's no way that that's what I'm
Yeah.
hearing.
I mean, it's bad enough that he like documents this in his phone, but also he's sharing it with like all these kids on the bus, and people are overhearing it. It's like you're sharing very intimate and personal details about women that you've been with to a
Yeah,
bunch
and the
of
thing-
fuckboys on a bus.
I am absolutely glad that he didn't say any of the names or what he's done out loud.
He probably like showed it to those friends.
No, he absolutely was showing his phone. I literally saw them passing the phone around like 100%, and they were
Good
laughing
God.
shit and just absolutely disgusting. I couldn't believe it.
This is why the society is fucked.
The thing about that though is, if I was to ever make like a high school comedy, which I don't think I ever will, because it's one of the most atrocious, overused genres ever. Like stupid high school comedies, but
Yeah.
it's perfect material for one. Like if you wanted to write like a douchebag character that only cares about like getting with as many girls as you can, there you go. Write
Mhm.
that in. Like it was just absolutely crazy. I could not believe it.
I have a theory, and I want to hear your opinion on it. I think the only reason, if not at least the utmost reason, why any boy, and probably girl as well, in high school gets with somebody else is just to impress their friends.
Yeah,
I think so.
Why would they have such a reason to instantly go and brag about it to people
Exactly.
if that's not the reason they were doing it? Like for me, if
Whoa. Whoa.
Careful how you word this.
Careful.
no, but like I don't care about. That's not what I care about at all. Like for me, it doesn't matter at all telling my friends. I don't even think about that at all.
hmm
Like getting a girlfriend or whatever, like that's an achievement. Actually having a real relationship rather than just like
Someone
having sex
you
with
care
somebody
about
then
and someone who cares about
excited
you,
about-
and
yeah,
it's
then
not just
instantly
artificial.
excited about going to school and telling your friends, "Hey guys, I had sex." It's like cool.
Good for you.
So has everyone else. Good job.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Congratulations, how do you think you were born? Retard. You're not special. Yeah, and it's funny because the way that kids work in terms of, like grade 5 and then up. Well, even grade 1, even kindergarten, I guess, the way that kids work all the way through up past high school and sometimes even into college if they're really disgusting,
Yeah.
is they live off of the next step of what they're able to do. Think about it. Like when you're a little kid, like going and like buying your own candy instead of you having to get your parents' permission. That's like, whoa, dude, fucking mind blowing. Like I can go get my own candy whenever I want. That's crazy. And then that turns into like, whoa, look how cool it is. I can drink these energy. Like, look how cool I am, guys. It's just so cool. Look how edgy I am.
I think
And
I
then
see
it-
how I think I see what you're saying here.
Yeah, and then it turns into, whoa, guys, look, I can go see an R-rated. Like, look how cool I am. I can go see an R-rated movie without my parents. Like, isn't that cool? And it goes all the way up the ladder to, guys, I can bang chicks. Isn't it cool? I can just do it whenever I want. I just go up to this bitch. It's like, I can just go to her at a party and bang her. And I think that's what it devolves from.
Yeah.
Pretty disgusting, to be honest, but I genuinely think that's how it works in the brain. And it's
Mhm.
just the next cool thing. Like, there are people that smoke pot, and for me, like, I do, quick flex, not even really flexing,
Weird
just
flex,
saying.
but okay.
Yeah. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't have to go to school or any place and tell them, hey guys, I smoke weed, look how cool I am. Like, I don't care about that at all. I don't care if anyone knows or doesn't know. I do it because I like it. But there are people in high school that all they talk about is how much weed they smoke. And it's like, you don't do it because you like to, and that's how you like to relax. You do it because you want other people to think you're cool for doing it.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know?
if you go back to when cigarettes were popular, that's basically
Exactly.
what happened
The
there.
exact
It's
same
just,
thing.
oh, guys, look how cool
Like,
I am. I smoke
guys, I'm-
cigarettes. Can I be
yeah.
part of your social group now?
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And it's just the way it is, and it's silly because even just the world we live in, it's the way it is. Think about it.
Yeah.
In terms of phones, like, people don't even go to concerts anymore because they want to go to
Yeah.
they go to the concert so they can film the whole fucking thing and put it on their Snapchat story and show everyone how cool they are because they're at a fucking concert. Or they're walking in the park and they're like, oh gee, look at how pretty that flower is, and they tell their friend, like, oh yeah, look at that flower, and they're like, oh, it's just like, that's not good enough for them. They have to take
Yeah.
a picture of it and put it on their Instagram and show everybody how cool that flower is.
Legit,
Like,
I went to
they can't just enjoy the moment for the sake of it being the moment. And I do this too. Like, if I'm going to
Mhm.
see a movie, I'll go and send like a picture of the now showing thing to a couple of my good friends just to show them I'm seeing a movie. But I'm not going to go in there and film the entire movie.
Yeah, no. Like legit. Last night I went to see Russell Peters live, and his opener, Jason Collins, I think his name is. He talked about this exact thing, how people are more focused on getting that picture and sharing it with the world rather than actually enjoying the moment. Like I think
Yeah, and
I think his example was like he was out enjoying like the clouds, physically seeing the clouds, and his friend was like, "Hey, go inside and check out the picture I just took." He goes in and it's the same picture of the same fucking clouds. Like, thank you, I was actually out enjoying these clouds, and then you had to just fucking share it with whatever.
And there's a big difference. Like, if you're a photographer and you're out with your camera, I'm not saying you shouldn't take pictures of stuff, because if you're a photographer, you're actually going to say, oh, the lighting is really amazing at this exact hour,
Mm-hmm.
and this picture would look really awesome. Or even if you just have your phone and you see the sunset and it's like the lighting is hitting it really nicely, and you're like, damn, that would be a really nice photo.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
a
did
lot
that
of
just
times-
once with the sunset. That was only because it was the first
Yeah.
time I ever watched a sunset. Actually watched a sunset, and I was on the 22nd floor of residence here, so I had a nice
Right.
view. And I was like, that was a new experience for me. And I was like, hey, I'll take a picture to sort of document this. I don't
Yeah,
take
but-
a picture of a sunset like every day, because a sunset happens every day. all around the world. Everyone else watches the same fucking sunset. I don't need to share it with the world.
Oh, exactly. And I'll send pictures of things that I think are cool, like, once.
Yeah.
Like, when I first got here, there's a really nice lookout point, and the sun was setting, and I took a picture and put it on my story, and put Kelowna. Excuse me.
Oh my god.
Because, one, I wanted people to know that, like, where I was, because, I don't know, I said bye to people, but I wanted people to know, like, yeah, he's in Kelowna.
Yeah. You made it there
Stuff
safe
like
and
that.
sound.
Yeah, and also, because it was a nice sunset, but...
Paiten, are you
There are
okay?
people that take pictures of, like, the most minute fucking... My cousin, for fuck's sakes, he's the worst for this. He
Okay.
takes pictures and of literally everything that he's doing and puts it on Facebook. He took a picture the other... And it wasn't even a nice picture. It was just, like, the most disgusting, like,
Jesus.
grotesque picture I've ever seen. It was, like, of him... from, like, the waist down, like, he took it, like, a POV shot of him, like, on the couch with, like, McDonald's on his chest because he
Aw.
ordered it from the McDonald's app that they just came out with where you can actually, like, order the food. And he was like, what a day, what a world where I can sit on the couch and get McDonald's delivered to me or whatever. And I was just like, yeah, but do I give a fuck is the question. And the answer is no. And he does that for everything. He'll go to a place and he'll take a picture or a screenshot of the map. And it'll just be like, in Penticton, in Calgary, in wherever. And it's like, nobody cares.
Okay, thank you for the life update.
Yeah. Or just the dumbest shit. And a lot of his pictures aren't in focus, like they're just quick snaps so that he can post it up real quick.
Oh,
and
God.
I don't know. Just,
At least I
he's
put
like-
effort into my shitty photos.
he's the epitome of the problem with people that do this. And he's not old, but he's older than me. Like, he's probably in his 30s.
Mhm.
Which is, like, the worst part. It's like, you don't realize how cringy you are. Like, you're not even self-aware, which makes it worse.
So now here's the real question. Does he take pictures of his food?
Oh, absolutely, all the time.
Oh, God. Yeah. We
Which
have
is, like, the worst
a
thing
proper
about
degen
food.
on our hands.
I'll send pictures of my food on Snapchat if I'm talking to somebody, and they're like, just to let them know what I'm doing, kind of thing. Which I'm not saying that I'm, like, a saint for doing this. It's still stupid. Don't get me wrong. Like, yeah,
It is.
take this decrepit picture of my fucking scrambled eggs that I made to
Ew.
show people. But I wouldn't put it on my story or post it anywhere. So I put text over it, like, or something. And it's still stupid, and I'm not defending myself for doing this, but it's a lot less bad than people who every single time they go to a restaurant, they have to take a picture of their food and put it on their Instagram. Or every time they make anything, they have to take a picture of it and put it on their Instagram.
See, I couldn't do that
And-
because all I make is crap dinner and it would just get boring.
You garnish it. Put some chives on that bitch. You gotta do the thing where you fill a hot dog and chop it up in there. Dude.
Oh, put
Nasty ass.
spaghetti through the hot dog.
What?
No one's heard about this. You cut the hot dog into chunks and then you put like spaghetti through it and boil it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You poke it through.
You poke it through and then you get
Yeah.
like squid burger.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But I think if we don't end this now, we're gonna go for another hour.
I could go forever.
I could do, honestly. We are at an hour and 41 minutes here, so
41 minutes.
Yeah.
And it ended around 2 hours.
yeah. I mean, there is no time limit. If you want to keep talking, then keep talking. If you want to wrap it
I
up,
do,
it's-
but I think Peyton's hinting at that she wants to go to bed soon.
I have to get up early.
Yeah, she has to drive.
Oh, yeah.
Drive back home. If you can call it that.
Oof,
Sure.
home. Are you ready to leave that decrepit valley, Paiten?
Oh my god. You have no idea how
Fucking
bad I just wanna.
putrid.
I just wanna leave. I wanna. I wanna move.
I want to do something with my life and that stuff.
Yeah.
Which
I'm
is unfortunately something that doesn't happen in the valley.
Mm-hmm.
so ready to get out of there.
Doing something with your life equates to going to the corner store and buying a six of beer every morning.
If you want to say you've done something with your life, all you have to do is just leave the Columbia Valley.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, you've done something
If
with your
you're
life.
not in your underwear porch, then you've done something as far as I'm concerned in terms of that valley.
I feel like that valley just sucks the life out of you, honestly.
It's
It
funny
does.
Like-
that I was having this conversation with Sharon the other day, actually, about how people just like something about the atmosphere when nobody else around you cares or has given a shit to go and do anything. It kind of rubs off on you.
Yeah, honestly.
Mhm.
When there's
Absolutely.
when if everyone around was going off here and doing this amazing thing and going off here, you'd be like, oh hell yeah. When I'm done school, I'm gonna go off and do my own amazing
Yeah,
thing.
it's my turn.
Mhm.
Yeah, but when everyone is like, yeah, I graduated 4 years ago and I'm still living in my parents' basement.
Oof.
Literally half the population of that valley.
Yeah, and for me it's depressing because I don't want to be somewhere for my whole life. Like even now, I love college. Like I love Kelowna. I like where I am, but I wouldn't want to graduate college and stay here and then just work the exact same thing
Mhm.
for the rest of my life and just do the same thing every day and have like the same routine. Like I want to constantly be moving up to something
Yeah.
rather than staying in one spot. And I'm already a lot farther than a lot of people have gotten in that valley, and I
Mhm.
still feel like I can go a lot
Yeah.
farther than this.
I feel that same way, honestly. Like even just being accepted into SATE, I'm like, wow, I've made it so much further than 90% of the people that live here.
Absolutely.
Which is a sad reality.
And
Yeah.
I find it hilarious too how like every long weekend, every summer, like half of Alberta comes and they do stuff. They go camping, they go skiing, they go biking. And then they're like, "Wow, you guys must love it here. You get to live in a beautiful place and where there's so much to do." And you're like, "Yeah, I love it here. I'm addicted to drugs and I live in my parents' basement for 40 years. It's great."
Yeah, I like it here because my fucking dealer lives here. What do you want from me? Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. I don't know, because it's a very tourist place,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very extremely over working in the summer for these ungrateful fucks that
Yeah.
come out and just give me shit for the smallest fucking things. Like the dude that told me his ice cream cone looked sad. It's like, well, your wife looks equally as sad, but you don't even the same thing about it. Like, it's just ridiculous.
I haven't dealt with the tourists, but I've dealt with, or I guess I should say, I haven't dealt with the people that buy a house in the valley just to own a house there, and they don't even live in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing the landscaping for the one summer, it was like all the only properties we worked on, with the exception of a few, is just rich Albertans that go to their summer home for 2 weeks of the entire year, and the rest of the time they live it up to us to keep it looking pretty.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I've worked as a kitchen staff at Fairmont Pizza for years. Well, I wasn't kitchen staff for the entire time. When I was younger, I worked on the ice cream side,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with customers as well. Worse on the pizza staff, though, for sure. The pizza side, people bitch about the most minute things.
My cheese is melted.
One time, some guy complained that our tomatoes were diced instead of sliced. That was cool. My manager told him to not come back. So that was cool. And then working as a ski instructor for years was also very painful at Christmas, where these parents would hand you their kid, and God forbid if he fell or anything didn't go absolutely perfect, you were gonna get fucking told about it, which just
Yeah.
irritated the shit out of me. I've gotten multiple strips tearing off me, and my boss always spoke so highly of me being one of the best instructors there, and yet I was probably the one that got the shit most of the time.
The most backlash.
Exactly, but at the same time, I think I had the highest. Well, I don't think, I know I had the highest progression rate out of all the other instructors, because the other ones would hold the hand and, you know, just kind of get them on their feet.
Yeah.
But I wanted more than that. Standing up, doing their own shit independently by the end of the lesson. So they'd fall a lot more, and they'd you know, complain, oh, my legs sore a lot more, because there's a lot of work skiing, especially when you're young. Like, the muscles are still developing. That's no fucking joke.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of shit for it, but the parents who didn't give me shit were usually pretty satisfied. So that's basically what I ran off of, is people telling me that they like where their kid's at.
I think that push that you give, even like a young kid or an adult, you give them that extra push, even if it hurts at first. In the end, you've progressed more, you've learned more, you're more experienced, rather
helps them for the
than
rest of their
having
life.
the training wheels for 5 years. You only
It
have the training
absolutely-
wheels for an
yeah.
hour.
It absolutely helps them for the rest of their life, for sure. Because if you look at people nowadays that complain about everything and give people shit whenever they can, just people that are genuine assholes in life that complain about not getting, like, the type of people that'll go to Burger King and then complain that, like, they didn't get enough fucking cheese on their burger or something. Those are the people that were babied their entire life.
Yeah.
When you're not babied, completely understand,
Mhm.
like, how the world works and what a lot of these people in service industry and, you know, just stuff that you understand. You understand how people have to work, and
Yeah.
you just understand a lot more about how the world works and how hard people have to work for things, and just you learn to respect people a lot more. Than you do.
Absolutely. And like
Coming from money and being babied at the same time is absolutely the worst offender, I think.
Mhm. So yeah, I think I have to give my props to my mentor, who is my older brother. Being 12 years older than me, he's gone through all the shit. He's, you know, did the drugs, been in jail, moved out, moved back in, moved out again. He's experienced everything, and he's for the times that he does get to be there for me, he gets to push me beyond my boundaries when I don't have anyone else to do that. So it's I think me being who I am, in part growing up in a poor family, I'm more careful with my money, so I think that helps. And then being more assertive, more respectful, and more appreciative of everything, I give that to my brother. So I think those two in combination has made me truly who I am today, and I honestly I appreciate it overall.
Yeah. Shout out to Devin's brother.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're listening to this, big bro, thank you, man. Cheers. Keep being you. He lives in Kelowna too, so if you see him, say hi.
Oh,
Absolutely.
God
Do you know
bless.
dogs him? That was a stupid question.
Where does? Oh yeah, West Kelowna.
Jesus Christ.
He lives in the one house with the tree beside it. You know that one.
Oh
cool, yeah.
yeah.
There you go.
That narrows it down to us. That's cool.
Yeah, you know,
Okay.
he from skiing to, you know, just going out and exploring to just about anything under the sun. You know, he pushed me beyond my boundaries and made me who I am today. You know.
Yeah, that's me with my parents too. They've always been I've had a way easier life than you for sure, but they've always been super supportive of me
Yeah.
doing whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad and my mom have always been really supportive and just push me as well to do a lot and really remind me, especially my mom, in a subtle way. She reminds me a lot of the time to do things and to go farther with things, because she knows that if she doesn't push me, I won't do it, and I'm very grateful for that as well.
All right,
Love
Paiten,
your
your
mom.
turn. Who do you appreciate?
Who do I appreciate?
Yeah, shout out to mom and dad, even though probably not gonna listen to us.
Oh God, probably my parents as well. They didn't push me as hard, but they definitely gave me the option to improve.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very grateful for that because I got to improve at my own speed, and I think that really helped me out in the end.
Yeah.
Rather than feeling stressed and forced to do something at that moment, I could take my time and ease into it.
That's good. Yeah. I think my parents were pretty well the same. They were just sort of supportive and go at your pace. We won't force you, but we'll support you along the way. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't really say it often, but I do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Be supportive. Parents out there, if you're listening to this, be supportive of your kids.
And kids out there, tell your parents that you're grateful for their support.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Goes both ways.
And I think that is a beautiful note to wrap up on.
I think so as well.
So,
That clusterfuck.
Yeah, I'm not sure
What
what
if-
happened
Vomit.
there.
what have we learned today? Movies are terrible, and we're grateful for.
Guardians of the Galaxy suck.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you two for spending the 2 hours with me to shoot the shit and talk nonsense.
Thank you for the invite.
If you ever want to have me on again, I'd
Oh,
be happy
absolutely.
to.
Just you.
Or Paiten, I guess, if she wants to be on. But yeah, I mean, it would kind of turn it it would devolve out of the non-topic podcast and probably devolve into the film analysis podcast.
Start your own podcast, just analyzing films that come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could.
It's not like there are
Right.
500 other YouTube channels that do that already.
Yeah, I already watched Sardana cast. Shout out to Sardana.
Sponsor us.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you, everybody.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That was a good talk, good podcast. Anyone want to promote, plug anything at all?
I don't
Socials?
have any plugs
All
at
right.
all. No plugs.
Paiden?
I don't know what a plug is.
Like social media. Social
Oh.
media. Yeah, social media.
No, I'm a social being.
All right, good. Well, for
What
me,
about your
just
photography
my
one?
Twitter
Oh,
at CJ
I do have
and that's it.
a photography account.
Ooh.
It's Paiten Photography, Paiten, on Instagram. I should probably say that.
Yeah, it helps. Could be on Facebook, could be on Twitter.
Yeah.
How many viewers do you get, by the way? Like, ish. Do you know?
Depends on whether or not I actually put in the effort to promote it. My first
Cool.
one got like, I think 50, 60 views, I think.
Not bad. I was just gonna suggest that if this ever starts growing a decent amount, you could always make a subreddit and get people to put questions in there. It's a lot
Mhm.
easier to have questions and posts than Twitter, I find, anyways.
Yeah,
But yeah.
that is a pro tip that I shall probably forget. But yeah, that was Going Topicless. Special thanks once again to my two guests, Paiten and Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we shall see you next time. Bye.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Bye.
Fuck off now.
Fuck you.
Fuck.